I got two for you. The first is just how you feel about the draft you guys had tonight.
Um, yeah, no, we're really excited. You know, as everyone knows, we intentionally made the move to get up to 7. And so, you know, we feel like the way things came together tonight, um, you know, we were able to execute on the plan we had coming into the draft. You know, there were players that we really felt good about, and you know, Jasmine and Stephanie. Um, you know, we had them circled. No idea that Arella would be available at 22. And so we just feel very fortunate, like the great combination of young players and talent to go with, you know, players that we already have slated to be in camp. Obviously, our core veterans, and we just really feel like we've put a nice group together that when we start training camp, it is going to be highly competitive, and there's going to be a lot of talent out on the floor.
And the second question, I mean, you played in the NBA, you were NBA union president, you've seen the W now. There's only 144 roster spots for women in this league, and there's a lot of talented players that got drafted tonight that probably aren't going to make a roster. Just how tough is it to make a team in the WNBA knowing that there's so much talent and so few spots?
Yeah, it's really difficult to find a spot in this league and stick. You know, especially we're coming off of 2020 last year with the draft, where players that got drafted didn't even get the opportunity to go to training camp and try and earn a spot. And so when you combine that with this season, you know, players will have an opportunity to come to training camp, but it will be difficult for every rookie that was drafted tonight, every first-year player to stay with the team that they were drafted by. But what I found in this league is that almost every woman in this league has unfortunately gotten accustomed to not having as many opportunities maybe as others. And you know, they relish those challenges, and all they ask for is an opportunity. And that's what we're hoping to be able to provide when camp starts in 10 days.
We'll go over to Rashawn Haylock with KTLA.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the draft. When you look at Arella, you mentioned she has lottery talent. Do you feel like you kind of got to steal with her? And then what are you most looking forward to in terms of, you know, with her, what she'll be able to bring to the squad?
Yeah, no, there's no question that we got to steal. You know, there's usually at least one, you know, player in a sports draft that drops for different reasons and various reasons. And, you know, you try not to allow yourself to be defined or, you know, have other people define whether or not it's the right pick for your team. And we felt like at that time for our group, she's by far, obviously still the best player on the board, but to have a lottery talent available at 22, an opportunity that we could not pass, and already having gotten the opportunity to start, you know, connecting with her a little bit, like, you know, you know, we're going to be ecstatic to see how this plays out on the court. We really didn't expect it. And so, you know, this changes some of our decision making for sure, in terms of how we put our final, you know, 15 players together going into camp. But it's a problem worth having when you can access a player like Arella.
We'll go over to John W. Davis with Winsider.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good, John. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. So you mentioned the 15 coming into camp. Kind of talk to me a little bit more about the thought process behind who you're actually going to invite to camp. And then past that, you'll have about 2 weeks to get down to the 11 or 12 that you're going to have on the final roster. Like, how are you going to do all of that in less than a month?
Yeah, you make the job sound really difficult, which is cool. But no, I think the first part of that, you know, there's still a lot of work to do tonight in discussions with our staff, and get an opportunity to connect with our coaches. And you know, most of this is virtual, so we're not in the same room as much as we normally would be. So connecting tonight and starting to talk through, what group we feel like will give us the best chance to then pare down to the best 12. That's the job and responsibility that I have now that I'm the general manager as well as the head coach. I have to immediately start to separate the personal feelings that I have for players that I'm coaching because I have to also wear the hat of management in terms of doing the right things by the organization overall and beyond the right player or the right person or X's and O's, et cetera. So it's part of the process in pro sports. And again, I think in the WNBA, these women are strong. They are resilient. They've been through, worse things, and it's all a part of it. And so we'll make the best decision that we can, that we feel like gives us the best chance to be successful this season. And then we'll let the rest play out.
Miriam Swanson with the LA Daily News.
Hey, Coach. Congratulations on your first draft as GM.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask about Jasmine and Stephanie particularly. Like, what specifically do you think will fit for you guys and that gives them a good shot at making this fun?
Well, first I want to acknowledge that I actually thought you were sipping a cup of coffee for real. So I like your stock photo there. I need a cup of coffee.
Sorry, I don't have.
I need a cup of coffee right now, actually. But Jasmine and Stephanie are both players that we've had circled on the board for a while. They continue to both gain I think interest from around the league as the college season went on and played out, and both had really good seasons. And they both fit, what we wanted to continue to add, similar to the decisions we made in free agency, to add players like Bria Holmes and Nia Coffey to our group, to continue to add versatility. And both of those players provide floor spacing, being able to shoot the three really well and at a high level, and also give us the versatility on the defensive end that we want to continue to build on as you match up against the best teams in this league. And we need to be able to have multiple weapons to do that. We've asked a lot of, TRP, we've asked a lot of Brittany Sykes, and we want to continue to add players that can take that responsibility of guarding the players you need to guard and defend in this league. And we feel like both Jasmine, Stephanie in particular, and then again, Arilla as a 5'11" guard, that's great size. And when you think about us losing Chelsea in terms of the bigger guard, it was a great opportunity for us in the second round.
Thanks. We'll go over to Brady Klopfer with SB Nation.
Hey, Derek, congrats on your first draft as GM.
Thanks, Brady.
I wanted to go back to Arilla for a minute. You mentioned that she was obviously the best player left on the board at that place, but that teams might have passed on her because she's not the right fit. And in the second round, you have to be drafting for fit. So I'm wondering what it is that stood out to you that made her be a good fit in your system and on your team. And then adding on to that, you're talking about the difficulties of getting to 15 players and then down to 12. Mm-hmm. With you adding the second first-round pick, I think most of us assumed that you weren't going to get someone in the second round who really had a chance at making the roster or had a good chance. And now you get kind of a consensus first-round pick or first-round talent in the second round, and now you've got really 3 first-round talents. How exciting is that for you as a coach to make as many moves as you made in the offseason to fill out this roster, and now you essentially have 3 first-round picks?
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, it's exciting. As a GM, not so much, honestly. As you were describing the situation, that's what the stressors are of the job. You're trying to make the right decisions, based on the information you have, looking and evaluating our team and our roster, trying to understand the players and the talents, strengths, and weaknesses that we have in place already, and what are those talents and skill sets and mindsets that we can add to continue to give us a chance to evolve. this was a transitional, transformational offseason for our organization. And so we felt like tonight continued to represent that, that, we can't stand pat when there are opportunities to grow and evolve and adapt and change. And tonight allowed us to do some of those things. And at the end of the day, everybody may or may not agree with the decisions that I make or that we make. But one thing we know for sure and that we can guarantee is that everyone that comes here and reports to camp on the 25th is going to have the opportunity and the responsibility to make the most out of the chance they get to be a part of this team. And in the W, it's not easy to make a team. And the system isn't really set up for everybody to be on the team. They know that better than we do. And I think that'll raise the level of our competition in camp this year, which is one of the number one priorities we had going into free agency and also into the draft.
Time for just a couple more for Derek, then we will have Jasmine Walker. We'll go over to Chris Camello with Nightcast Media.
Derek, how are you?
Good, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing well. Sharp suit, by the way. I like that. I like that color. I was just curious with Jasmine, because obviously you traded up, and you get Stephanie Watts. What was it about them, not just as basketball players, but was there a mindset? Was there an intangible that stood out to you and your staff that felt like we've got to make this move because we see something that maybe no other team sees? I'm just curious on that when you make a move like you did leading up to tonight's draft.
Yeah, I think both players, there were kind of two different approaches with each player. With Jasmine, seeing her over the last couple of years continue to develop, but then this season in particular, started to hear her name more around the league. More people were going to watch her play that, either lived closer to, being on campus there in Alabama, in that region, in that area. And due to COVID, we really haven't been able to spend much time with these players in person, getting a chance to know them on that level. But watching Jasmine, doing our due diligence, talking to coaches, talking to folks that understand as much about her as possible, we felt like, to your point, the mindset, and when you see a player that has grown and developed and gotten better at the rate that she has, it confirms for you that she's willing to do the work to continue to improve. She was more of a player that we didn't want people to know. That one of the main reasons why we moved up to 7 was fingers crossed that she would still be there. We didn't know if it would work out for sure. But as the draft started to unfold, we continued to get more excited. So, she intentionally, it was a part of the reason why we tried to get up to 7. Stephanie is a player that, like her skill set, her length, her activity, but again, to your point, her personality and her mindset. Most players on the women's side have been through injuries at the collegiate level or in high school, and they have to learn how to bounce back from really difficult things at early ages. And Stephanie's one of those people. She turned 24 on April 12th. And so we feel like even though she's a first-year player, she's a grown woman, and she can come in and handle the responsibilities that come with being a pro. And so we're just really excited about tonight. Again, makes the job harder for all of us, trying to figure out who will be the right 12 to move forward with. But we'd rather have those problems than the opposite.
Last question tonight for Derek, go to Ross Gold on Woo Day.
Hey, Derek, congratulations.
Thank you, Roz. Appreciate it. How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on? That was a fun, well, I don't know. How was it for you in there, actually? It was fun to watch.
It was a lot, but it was more fun than we thought it would be when these names started to line up next to LA Sparks.
Facts. The Arella grab was great. I mean, I'm excited. Wow.
Thanks.
But I really just, I was listening to everything you've already said. So I had a question for you then in your first draft as GM. What was it like? And I guess the second part is, what's the goal and for the identity of this team as you crafted not only as a coach, but also as a GM?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first question, like tonight, was surreal. Very, very thankful for the opportunity to be in this position and take it very seriously. Balancing, what I think as a coach we need on the court. But I believe one of the reasons why I took the job and accepted the job to become the general manager is wanting to ensure that beyond X's and O's, that we're drafting the right women as people, that we're doing the right things as an organization off the court, beyond game plans and strategies. And so tonight, I really tried to hold true to those ideals, that regardless of my personal feelings or personal beliefs at times as a coach, as a GM, there's a certain way to try and manage the night as best you can. And hopefully, especially when we look back on it, we can feel good about it. I think the second part, like in terms of just where we're going, I think that's really important. Like we're changing, we really are. And on the court, we want to be dynamic. We want to be, fast. We want to be passionate. We want people when they watch us play. Like I don't have a lot of any hair up top at least, but I want people to feel like we're playing with our hair on fire, like literally. Getting after people every possession, making people uncomfortable when they play against the Sparks. No longer living off of the names on the back and who we are, but really relying on the work and the fight and the mindset to be champions. And combining that, of course, with great impact in the community of Los Angeles and representing girls and women of color in a way that hopefully inspire them to want to support us more and be a part of what we're doing. But we have to continue to invest in them in order to make them feel special. So thanks everybody for sticking around and joining tonight. Continue to cover this game and cover this league. And obviously I'm biased. Please cover our team more than any other team. And we'll talk to you soon.